Welcome to Conversation with Zaki Baruti, with your host, Zaki Baruti. And like always, I want to give a shout out to my biological family, what's happening, to the Universal African Peoples Organization, what's going on, and to New Life Evangelistic Center family headed by Reverend Rice. Keep up the great work, and a shout out to our amazing cameraman, Bob. On that note, we'll have another great show because in the studio with me, I have a colleague of many years who's been very involved in the movement for justice, equality, and freedom for our people. And as head of a renowned organization for Black Struggle, I'm speaking none other than, some people call her Mama Jamala. I call her Jamala Rogers. Welcome,
Thank you
Jamala.
for having me, Zaki. Thank you for having me. Yes.
So first of all, I know you've been on the show a number of times and you're out here, but just as a refresher for folks to know a little bit about you as a person, wherever you want folks to know about Jamala Rogers, would you please share?
So, to be short and sweet, I just want people to know that I made a lifelong commitment to the liberation of our people and to humanity decades ago, and I'm still on that path. And so it is a rather rocky, torturous path sometimes, but I think the reward is seeing some relief for our people. And the reforms now seem to be shorter in in substance and in longevity, just because of the nature of global capitalism. But I think if we didn't have organizations like ours doing the work, I can't say where Black folks might be right about now in 2024. But it's going to be a rough road ahead.
Wow, that's a deep analysis. But again, going back to your earlier, at what age would you say that you really got involved?
I was about 16.
About 16?
I was about 16.
I think we're on the same
path.
Right,
yeah, absolutely. And we both came up during
the revolution was right around the corner.
Yeah. We were both, the civil rights movement was raging as well as the Black Power movement. And so I think those two movements really came together to help radicalize us, and I always say that everybody didn't get radicalized. This is sort of fantasy about the 60s, like everybody was a revolutionary, and I'm saying if that was the case, we would be liberated by now. So no, there were people who saw what was happening around them, even at a young age, who had that burning in the belly, and then thank goodness that some elder reached out and said, this is where you need to be. And I think that's what happened, definitely what happened to me and probably you as well.
Now, when you made mention in terms of reforms, I know you and I were co-chair of the Coalition Against Police Crimes and Repression for a number of years, and one of our movements was to return control of the police department to the residents of the city of St. Louis. Where that stands at this point in time, and kind of give a little overview of that for our people.
So I think many folks, when we started out on that track, really didn't even know that we didn't have local control. Our police department was up under the governor, who then appointed commissioners. And those appointments was based on what kind of support you gave to the governor. And so already it was political in nature. And so we felt like if local control was returned back to the citizens, it would be in the board of alder people for them to have some oversight, but they would be closer to us, both in proximity and in political terms, because we elected these people. So it took us about 20 years, if you remember, to actually get it. And I think since then, it was a two-pronged strategy. We were going to get local control, and then we were going to establish a civilian oversight board. So both of those came into existence, and I think in a post-Ferguson uprising world, we started to see more attention being paid to local control and to what some folks would call defunding the police, because we saw the nature of the police was not going to change. In fact, it was getting more terroristic and more militarized. And so the local control passed. We got that. And then it took a while to get the oversight board. So just recently, the mayor approved the new civilian oversight board, and that's been a struggle, because when we rewrote the ordinance, because one of the things that the Coalition Against Police Crimes and Repression has been doing is just monitoring, intervening when necessary, because we know what the ordinance is supposed to say. We helped to write it. And so when we see deviations, it's like, okay, time out. Why are you doing that? What's going on here? And that really happened this time around with the ordinance. And so the first thing that happened when it was passed a couple of years ago is the St. Louis Police Association, in conjunction with the Ethical Society, who's the black police officers, filed a suit. And then there was an injunction for almost a year until we could figure stuff out and the judge rule on it. So that we lost a whole year. But coming back, we said, okay, now it's time for new terms. And so we really helped to reach out to the community, say, be a part of this. We still got to hold people accountable, and we want you to be a part of it. So they were approved last week.
So, and as you look back on that reform, has it been effective?
I think I would say overall, yes, because for the first time, people felt like that was something they put into motion as opposed to something already being there. It definitely was a citizen-driven campaign. And as you know, we went north, south, east, west in the city to get people to understand the importance of local control. And so I think people feel an ownership to it based on that. And so we often get like, okay, what's going on? Why did they do that? And so I think people are actually more involved because of it. And this is their government. This is their police department. We pay taxes. These are supposed to be public servants. And so to that end, I would say yes. I think what we still grapple with is making it more accountable. And so sometimes when you get certain people on there, they don't understand the true nature of the mission, and they don't respond and perform. But we're hoping that we can really pay attention to that this time around.
Okay, on that note, we're going to take a quick break.
An epidemic of homelessness is sweeping throughout the United States of America. In city after city, people are ending up on the streets. Now, instead of feeling overwhelmed, as believers, we can do three things. We can give, we can volunteer, and we can pray. We can pray for the homeless refugees that we're finding in one city after another, all over the United States. So many people ending up out on the streets, and the hearts of so many are growing cold at this particular time and indifferent to the need. Jesus said, as oft as you've done it to the least of these, he said, even so you've done it unto me. When's the last time you've prayed for the homeless refugees in the United States of America, appearing in city after city, not only in major cities, but even smaller cities? So many people ending up out on the streets, even in resort areas, places you never think you'd find homeless people, they're there. Jesus said, foxes have holes and birds have nests, but he, the Son of Man, had nowhere to lay his head. Please pray for the refugees. Please pray for the homeless people in America, and pray for those that are on the front lines, the first responders, reaching out through Jesus Christ among the homeless and hurting, whether it's in Springfield or St. Louis. Your prayers and gifts to the New Life Evangelistic Center makes a big difference. This New Life Evangelistic Center, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, is 63166.
Did you know that NLEC TV was one of the most unique apps in the world? It is programmed by previously homeless individuals whose lives have been radically transformed through the power of Jesus Christ. When you put the NLEC TV app on your phone or mobile device, not only will you receive 24 hours of television programming, but the Here's Help radio network, 24 hours of creation viewing, NLEC's classic movies, and more.
So I've been using that app, and the more I use it, the more excited I get over it. Whether I'm in New Bloomfield or Springfield or anywhere else, I can be monitoring, watching NLEC TV. You can do the same thing. It's free. You can bring it up from the Google App Store. If you have questions about how to do that, you can go to nlecstl.org or call us at 314-421-3020. It opens a whole new world of broadcasting to us.
Now you will be able to watch NLEC TV anywhere at any time. Just go to your Google Play Store on your phone or mobile device and pull up the NLEC TV app today. You will get all the inspirational family, community affairs programming, and more. Be sure and tell everyone you know.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is Jamala Rogers, head of the Organization for a Black Struggle. And on the other side of the break, we were talking about reforms per the oversight committee for the police department that's supposed to serve and protect us. But we know over the years we have had a lot of cases of police brutality. Now, most recently in the news, and in fact, there's a court case in which a young lady has been charged with serious crimes involving oversight of the St. Louis City jail system. Give us a breakdown of what's taking place on that level and whether or not that's been affected from your viewpoint.
So one of the things that I've noticed is that the oversight of police, of all the boards, commissions, and committees that the city has, is about 150 of them. This is getting the most attention and the most resistance. And I have no other conclusion that it's about the police and having them be more accountable. So folks will remember last year, almost a year ago, Janice Mensah, who's a black trans woman, actually was the vice president of what they call the DFOB, and that's the Detention Facility Oversight Board. That's a lot to say. And she went in the day of a murder, and it had been a string of murders.
Murder within
the jail.
Okay.
And people call this the Justice Center. I almost refuse to let justice come out of my mouth when I'm talking about that place. But they went in and were, asking to see what's going on and to talk, and they were basically tackled.
You mean a board member that's supposed to be overseeing the jail conditions and what's happening? They were tackled
by guards there.
Okay.
And this person, Janice, just had the court trial, the municipal court trial, and I saw one of the guards who were tackling her, and I'm thinking, this dude is like, 300 pounds and like 6'2", and I'm thinking, Janice is like 5'2" and less than 100 pounds or something. Really, and it, the video was out there, it went viral.
And she was charged with what?
She was charged with trespassing and assault. And so one of the interesting things...
And right now she is going through the court.
It ended on Wednesday, and so the judge now is going to make some decisions in the coming weeks. So I'll keep you abreast of that so you can let your audience know. But the resistance was so tough for the DFOB, which was a brand new formation. We helped to write that into law. And we actually very specific and intentional about them being able to go to the jail unannounced if necessary. And so they actually read that, the defense attorneys read that in court. And so I said, yeah, that's exactly why we wrote it, just for a situation like this, because how are you not going to have that kind of power and leverage to be able to go in and see what's happening? So those are the kind of glitches that they're going to have to be worked out. And the same thing with the new board. Who knows what's going to happen, but hopefully we got some good people who signed up for it, who understand what's happened before, and they're willing to hunker down.
You're talking about the new board for the oversight?
For the Civilian Oversight Board, which is over the police.
Okay.
So part of the new ordinance was the establishment of the DFOB over the jail. You already had the civilian oversight with the police, and now there's a new office on which both of those are under. So right now there's a temporary director, but it's the ordinance set up an office. So that office is going to be important, and people should go and attend the meetings, even the meetings that the DFOB have been virtual, and so people can join and see what's going on.
How often do they meet And
I believe it's once a month, and I know at least once a month, and then probably is needed. And what I'm suggesting is that it's transparent enough, and we have set it up so people can actually see what's happening and be a part of it. And when they see things going on, at least question it.
okay, and I assume for anybody who's listening and interested in going, they just need to call City Hall and find out.
Yeah, they can go to the they have a website, the Civilian Oversight Office, the Office of Civilian Oversight, and you'll see all the notes from the meetings. You'll see most of it is going to be on YouTube in terms of the video. So yeah, we encourage people to check that out.
Okay, then now there's a lot of other political happenings here in the St. Louis area. Turning to we have looked like a interesting matchup for the position of first congressional congressperson, where you have Cori Bush, the incumbent, being challenged by, I hate to say his name, but that person. Your analysis of what's taking place in what's going on right now?
Well,
and for the first congressional district.
For the first congressional district, where Cori Bush is the incumbent, we supported Cori the first time and the second time, and we endorsed her for her third bid. And we did that because she's done exactly what we sent her to do. I mean, I don't know how I could say it any other way. Of course, there's always room for improvement, but she stood up on issues around housing, homelessness, Medicaid. I mean, she's been there for the people. And what we said in our endorsement is like, anybody has the right to run, but should you? I mean, really, should you run? And so we were disappointed in the incumbent, who we had supported for another office for prosecutor.
And when you say
attorney.
the incumbent over the St. Louis County prosecutor. Right.
So, but I think now we see how important it is, as the Palestinian issue has been in the forefront, where the Zionists have definitely tapped people to say, we'll give you this kind of money if you run or if you articulate our particular views. And I think for Cori Bush, she has stood strong on support of the Palestinian people. So that makes her a target. And we just saw this week, or was it last week, where we lost one of the incumbent Democrats who was pro-Palestine. So,
absolutely. But on that note, we'll have to take another quick break.
Behind me is the New Life Evangelistic Center administrative offices in Overland, Missouri. And this is where we shoot our shows for our worship shows and the Here's Help Network. And it's also where Zaki Baruti and Bernie Hayes shoot their shows. You can find all of these shows at the New Life Evangelistic Center app, the NLEC TV app. You can also access them on your tablet or on your computer. And this is how you can stay up to date with all the things that New Life Evangelistic Center is doing. There are so many different programs that we've got going on, and God is doing many exciting things through partners like you. So if you want to support the work that New Life is doing, then please access and give through the app. You can go online at nlecstl.org, or give us a call at 314-421-3020. Again, 314-421-3020. But this is the best way to get plugged into the amazing work that New Life is doing through people like you. And so there is something for you to get involved in today. And we are so thankful for our partners. Only through the grace of God and your gift are we able to bless others today.
Are you feeling down and out? I want to encourage you to experience hope in God's creation. How you can go for a walk in a local park or in the woods or even along the ocean and experience hope at this time. It's all outlined for you in this free book that I'll send you if you just write me and request such. You can write me Larry Rice, P.O. Box 473, St. Louis, Missouri, that's 63166, and request your book, Experiencing Hope in God's Creation, or call us at 314-421-3020.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me is Jamala Rogers, head of the Organization for Black Struggle. And we've been talking about a variety of issues, but, going back to the police, here in the St. Louis area, there have been projected over 1,000 unsolved murders. 1,000 unsolved murders. Why are they not being solved? I thought, we had an effective police department. That's
yeah.
And if we had a breakdown of statistically those by race that are unsolved, do you have any idea of that statistically?
So this is an issue that had been investigated by 3 entities. One of them was the St. Louis Public Radio, the other one was the Marshall Project, and I'm blanking on the other one, but they did an investigative series, and then they had a public forum to release their findings. And, for us who are in the community and who see folks lose loved one and see nobody ever, come to be held accountable, we knew that the numbers were great, but 1,000? And this is over...
And that's from what period of time?
This is the last 10 years.
Okay, so, 10 years.
So
wow.
10 years. And I think what was striking to me is that there were three findings that came out. One is that the police claimed to be undersourced and understaffed. The other was they found that there was just sloppy work when it came to investigations. Like, there was not a follow-up with a witness. Didn't even call them. And I know that to be a fact because I'm a big watcher of cold case files. I'm not talking about like the series. I'm talking about the real, where they solving real crimes. And often what will happen is when they go back to those files, the very person that they didn't interview is the perpetrator. Mm-hmm. And so it's just like this, they don't care. And so one of the things that I said during the public comment portion is, if you don't believe Black people are humans or of value, then why would you investigate their murder? And so if you look at that and you believe that as the system of belief for the St. Louis Police Department, why would you waste a minute investigating, or why would you use your resources that you might use for other? Because we know that the number of homicides of white people gets resolved rather quickly, even if it's the wrong person that gets snatched. That book is going to be closed. And so the other thing to your question was that it was almost 90% of the folks unsolved were Black folks.
Wow. And that ties into where, we would advocate for police departments are to be reflective of the composition, racial and ethnic composition of a community. And in the past, you had a predominantly white police force.
And it's still predominantly Black, Zaki. And in fact, what came out in this thing was all of the detective unit is all white.
Oh, wow.
Yes. So what you think?
And how many people in the detective force? Do you have an idea?
They couldn't get the number. The police refused to get the number. So the police department was not cooperative with this investigative series. And in fact, they told us, the audience, that 6 months ago, they basically stopped talking to them. They had to file a court to get, records that are public records. And this has happened again and again, Zaki, where news media, where organizations, where individuals will try to get information that is public, and they refuse to give it to you.
Well, but then I would have to ask, you have a Black mayor, can they not just give a directive to the head of the police department?
I would think so, because that person
hold that thought. We got to do a quick break.
Maybe on the journey of life, you feel like you're just overwhelmed. You feel like you're stumbling over one thing or another. You're about to go over the cliff of life. Everything seems so hopeless at this moment. I want to encourage you to get into God's Word. Faith cometh by hearing, hearing by the Word of God. Look around you at the wonders of all that God has created. Let faith come into your heart. Experience His joy, His peace, His power. And as you do that, get your eyes off your problems and look at somebody else that's in need out there. There's so many homeless people at this time. You see them everywhere. So many hurting people. I'd invite you to join us on Friday mornings in front of City Hall at 6:45 to 8:15 and just reach out and be a part of how we're helping the people there. We'll get them food, water, transportation assistance, clothing, just hygiene items, a wide range of support. But you take your eyes off your problems, you see somebody else. And it does a whole lot, because a lot of times you go into prayer and you're just focused on the problem, and the problem gets bigger and bigger. Prayer involves taking our eyes off ourselves, looking to God, the author and creator of all, and spelling out the word acts. First, engage in adoration. Then the C is confession. Yes, and then what do you do after that? Well, you engage in thanksgiving. And then the S, supplication, you go on and ask Him. There's a whole lot in God's Word that will give us direction on that struggle as we go through life. You can also get more if you want to go to LarryRiceMinistries.org. There's a lot there at that site. And we offer you many opportunities here at the New Life Evangelistic Center to go out among the hurting and homeless. You can do that. You can work at our headquarters at 2428 Woodson Road in Overland, Missouri. There's so many different opportunities. And if you want further information, call us at 314-421-3020, but go to nlecstl.org. Let's do something right now. This world is hurting. You and I can make a big difference for good.
Welcome back to Conversation with Zaki Baruti. In studio with me, Jamala Rogers, for only a couple more minutes. And on the other side, we were discussing in terms of the composition of the detectives department in the St. Louis Police Department. I was asking you a direct question as it relates to if the police department is not providing the information, can that not be directed by the mayor to say, boom, provide the information?
I would think so, because the police chief is an appointee of the mayor.
Right.
And so just like Clemens Abdullah, who's over the jail, is an appointee. So yes, I think there's definitely some missteps there about, like, why is this not happening in a different kind of way when, first of all, it's the law. It's the law, and so they're not following the law. So who are they accountable to? And I would think if beyond the mayor, they're still accountable to the citizens of St. Louis. So that's why people have to be woke and pay attention, really.
Absolutely. Now, on the national level, we only got a minute or two left. There's an important convention that's going to be taking place that we were talking about off air. And what is that?
As of tomorrow, this month, the National Black United Front was founded in Brooklyn, New York. So this is the 45th anniversary, and they'll be in Kansas City the weekend of the 13th and 14th. So this is going to be centered on reparations, but also they're doing a lot on food justice. And so there'll be the brother whose name I'm blanking on from Detroit that's going to come and share that national model with the participants. So that 45 years in running, I think is a pretty good feat for black organizations in this country. But yeah, so they still walking the walk and talking the talk.
Now, you may mention food
justice.
Justice. What is food justice? So
food justice is really like people have a right to eat, and they have a right to healthy foods and accessing that in their neighborhoods. And in the most black neighborhoods, there's not very many grocery stores. And if they do, they don't have the kind of food that would sustain us as a people. And so these folks are starting community gardens. And I mean, it's just pretty amazing what's being done across the country.
Okay. Now, if anybody wanted to get involved and help the movement or organization for Black Struggle, how would they get in contact with you?
So they can reach us at 314-367-5959, or they can go to the website www.obs-stl.org. And yeah, you can just either Google Organization for Black Struggle and it'll come up. But yeah, I think we want people to be involved, and we need people involved, particularly going forward with the kind of electoral politics that we know is going to unfold. Okay, then. On that note, the time just be we're doing a 100-yard dash in a few seconds. So on that note, I just want to thank you, and to the audience, like always, become educated on the issues because election time is upon us. Know the issues, make sure you go and vote, but more importantly, join an organization that speaks truth to power. We say join the Universal African People's Organization or the Organization for Black Struggle. On that note, may God bless each and every one of you. Peace.